So hi, welcome to the first part of the HTML series. In this I'm going to cover a lot of things, okay, the basic things you need to know. So let's jump into it. So the first thing, I hope you would have downloaded one of the text editors, or if you're not able to do so, it's okay, but it's all up to your convenience. So I'm going to use Sublime Text for this tutorial and the upcoming few of the tutorials, okay, until we need some other thing which we are going to do. So in the Sublime Text, okay, there is one thing you need to know. First thing is, in every HTML document, okay, like when Google or any other search engine, they're going through the once you search, they'll go through a document. So once they go through a document in the project, the first line they're going to encounter is doc type, which is obvious, and it says document type, and that is going to be HTML. Okay, this is the default document type for the HTML5, which is the recently released one. Okay, now you may wonder, like Tharun said, it's going to give us the coloring and those things and all, but it's not giving. Why? If you have got that doubt, then you're going to become a good web developer soon. Okay, so we are not getting that because this is a text editor where you can edit many types of text. So until you mention that it's a HTML text, it's not going to give that color coding. Okay, so first thing is you have to save it. Okay, to save, you just go to file, okay, file, and hit on save, or else you could give Control S, which will save it. Okay, to save, you have to give a specific path where you want to save, whether it's going to be the desktop or a specific folder you're working in. Usually we work in project folders. Okay, you'll have a specific folder where you're going to save all of your files of the project, and you're going to work. For the sake of this tutorial, I've created a folder where I'm going to save all the images and the CSS and the HTML files there. So let's navigate to that folder. So it is this folder, okay, and the file name is going to be anything which you want to give. Okay, it must be descriptive so that you'll be able to find the exact file you want. So usually the naming thing we consider for the home page is index. Okay, so let's do the same for this also. So index dot, and a text file has an extension txt, right? But this is not a text file, it is a HTML file. So you could save it as index.html or htm, but the usual convention we use online is html. Okay, so you also do the same, index.html, and save it. Voila, now we have got the color coding which you needed. Okay, so it's doctype.html. This is done. Now let's quickly jump into the other the basic tags you need to know. Okay, so the first one is HTML. All the documents, HTML documents, begin with HTML and end with this closing tag. Okay, so the HTML is a tag name here. So its basic syntax is tag name and the content. And how do you close a tag? It is this bracket with this forward slash and the tag name. Okay, that is how each and every tag in HTML goes. So similarly, the content of the website must be wrapped inside the HTML. Okay, so the next default thing we are going to do is, if you wondered how I gave that was a tab space. Okay, I hit tab and head. Make sure you close them. Okay, head, and this will too have a closing. Okay, save. But there are some tags which doesn't have a closing tag. Okay, I'll just go to them later, but now let's continue with this. Head, and within the head you'll have title. Okay, if you're getting this being confused, then don't worry, we'll absolutely get fine with it. So this is the title. So what does this title do? So when we go to google.com, for example, now let's navigate to our browser. Let's open Chrome. Okay, now when you go to google.com, there is something you see here in the top that says Google. This is the title. So whatever we put inside this title is going to show up on the tab. Okay, so let's create a first title. Let us say my title. It could be anything, okay? It could be your name or the name of the website, anything. But for the sake of this tutorial, let's go with my title. And now you have to navigate to where you have saved your file. Okay, I had saved in this HTML folder, remember? So I'm just going to double click that and done. It opens in a browser and you see that my title. So congratulations, you have created your first website. I'm just kidding, it's not a whole website, but at least you've started off with something. And actually guys, I do recommend you trying along with me, pausing the video and working parallelly. That will surely give you a good understanding of what I'm doing. You could always like replay the videos and watch them, feel free to do that. So it's the my title, okay, that appears. The next thing is the main thing. It is called body, the body tag. Okay, so within the body tag comes the whole content of the website. You remember I've showed you all those two designed website, or let it be any website. The content you're going to see on the browser is whatever you give inside the body. Okay, there are some exceptional cases where you use other technologies, but you do not worry about that. Just now you could go with this. So you have the body tag. Within the body tag, the first one I'm going to teach you is the heading tag. Okay, heading goes from H1. Okay, there are 6 different headings. Let me first type them and I'll just show you. We have H2, we have H3. Let me just erase that. Autocomplete. So H4, H5, H6. These are the 6 headings. There are only the 6 variants of headings. The only difference between them is the heading size which you get. Okay, so in the H1, this is H1. Okay, similarly, let us fill the others. This is H2, this is H3, this is H4, this is H5, this is H6. Okay, I've saved it. Now if you have guessed right, when we go to the same page and when we reload it, it will fetch the details from the file we have saved. Okay, let's reload, and congratulations, you have built your first content on the website. So as I told you, H1 being the biggest and H6 being the smallest heading size. Okay, all are bold, but the difference between them is the size of the heading. So this is H1 to H6. That is the difference between them. So the next tag we'll be going around with is the paragraph, P tag. P stands for paragraph. So P and the same, if you remember, all the tag name ends with that bracket with the /. So the P tag, this stands for paragraph. This is without bold and it's smaller than heading. Okay, this is a paragraph. Save it by hitting Ctrl S or manually going there. Now go to the browser, refresh the page, and you see there, this is a paragraph. So depending on the layout of your web page and what you want the content to be, you could use H1 or paragraph. Okay, so the next tag I want to show you is the anchor tag. The anchor tag, basically what it does is, when you click on that element, it will take you to the specified page. Okay, for example, when you search something on Google and you get the results, so you click on that, it takes you to that specified page, isn't it? That is the basic working of the anchor tag. So let's see how it works. So anchor tag is A and it closes with A. This is the anchor tag. But you want to mention 2 important things here. First one is you want to tell which one should be clicked, right? So whatever the content goes inside this anchor tag is the one which will take you to wherever you mention. For example, let us now type THARUN for time being. Now this is ready, but where do you want this content to take you. For that, you would have to mention that within href equals to and the double quotes. Okay, so whatever the link you give here, that content is going to take you there. For example, if you want to go to google.com, okay, you would have to mention it with https, otherwise it's going to search locally. Okay, so https colon and forward slashes www.google.com. Save it, and when you go into the browser and refresh, you have this Tharun link here, and once I click it, keep your eyes on it, once I click it, it's going to take me to the link we have mentioned. It's not Google, you can put any link inside that and it's going to take you there. So this is the basic working of the anchor tag. Okay, now since we have done with that, I want to show you img tag. You would have seen images on websites. Okay, images like a basic thing in a website. It's so awesome when people use images. So if you also want to include an image in your website, you have to use img tag. There are actually many other tags like picture tag, but for now we'll be dealing with img tag. Don't worry, I'll go through all of the basic tags you need to know. So img, and the first attribute. Okay, first thing, let me talk about what you mean by attribute. Attribute is something which gives additional information about the website or about the element in specific attribute. So img, and the first attribute we're going to use here, for example, see this href I've used, this is also an attribute. Okay, and img, which I'm using, is a tag name, and the attribute I'm going to follow is src. src gives the source, that is from where you want the image to come. Okay, and it's always better to give relative sources. Okay, I'm going to explain you what relative source and what is the other type of source. Okay, so img src equals to, remember the double quotes, you could use single quotes, but this is the standard way of doing. So img src, and before putting anything here, you want to make sure you have the image there. Okay, if you don't have the image and you start typing the source and all, it's not going to work. So I'm going to use the image from the same folder. So I'm going to use this image.jpeg, that is image.jpeg. So here in this src, I'm going to type image.jpeg and close it with this. See, I told you there are certain tags which need not be closed with that type of anchor tag and this thing. So this is one of them, image tag. You may include that this / here. If you don't include, it's okay, but it's always good to do that. So img src equals to image.jpeg. Now once we go to the browser and go to the file which we are working in, that is index.html, we are going to have this weird thing looking here which spans up the whole page. Okay, you may see this if you give exact thing what I have done. For some images you may see them loading there, but why is this happening? This is because the original size of the picture is so big, so it's appearing like that. What you want to do is resize it according to whatever size you want. So how do you do that? In the img you have two more attributes. Actually you have plenty of attributes, but two more attributes for now. That is the width attribute and the height attribute. So using this, you'll be defining the width and height of the image. So that is done using pixels. Okay, for now let's use width as 400 pixels and height as around 250 pixels. Okay, save it, and now when you refresh the page, it's going to resize here beautifully. Okay, so this is how you deal with images. There are a lot more things which you can do with images, which I'm going to take you later, but for now the one more last thing which I would like to tell you is about the style attribute. Using the style attribute, you could make your website even more beautiful because you'll be using colors, you'll be using font sizes, you'll be using text alignment there. Okay, so let me make this a beautiful website for you immediately. So the style attribute goes inside the tag. Okay, so if you want to use the style attribute for the body, say for example for the background color, you could do that. If you want to change this font, you could do that. If you want to change it into bold or italic, you could do that. If you want to change the color of the text, you could do that also. So let's give a style attribute to this p element, paragraph element. So you go inside the tag and you give style equals to, and the same double quotes, and you mention the thing you want, that is the color. Okay, the color, because we want to change the color of the text. That is done using color. In the color, you can mention the color, or you could directly mention the hexadecimal value. You could go online, you have resources where you could check them, and or you could mention the RGB value of that. For now, let's use the color. Okay, the color of this text, let us set it to blue, say BLUE. Save it, Control S, and when you refresh, you have the text in blue color. It's so simple. Okay, and now say you want to align all of the body content to the middle of the page. So that you do by going to the body and style equals to, open the quotes, and you mention, for the alignment it is text align. Okay, text dash align, and use the colon, center. Save it and refresh. All of the content comes to the center. It is so easy to work with. There are so many things you could do with style and tags. I'll be taking you through each one of them, at least the necessary ones, in the upcoming tutorials. But if you want to check them out individually, I'll leave a link down in the description where you have a whole lot of resources you could refer to, and you could have a better understanding of what you could do with these tags. So that's all for this tutorial. In the next part, I'll be dealing with the next higher level of this, and whatever I've missed here also will be covered there. Thank you for staying with me, and see you in the next video.